getting into. Now, this week will be an amazing week because then this Thursday, just a few days from now, will mark the second National Primary Teachers Conference, and this will happen in Wachiso District, yes. And so you're wondering, what is this conference all about and what will be the highlight of this particular major event that marks, is one of the tops the calendar of this particular month in terms of what the Ministry of Education is doing to motivate our primary school teachers. And so in studios we do have two amazing ladies that Romeo will be telling us about.
We are joined by the State Minister for Primary Education, Mrs. Ninde Mary, and the Mrs. Egaujen. She's the TIET Commissioner. She basically handles teachers' motivation, and they join us right now in studio. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the second National Teachers Conference slated for Thursday. Tell us more about that. Mrs. Aninde, I'll start with you.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank NTV for hosting us this morning. But most of all, I would also like to congratulate all the teachers in the country, especially the primary teachers. We are organizing a second National Primary Teachers Conference, which is an initiative by the Ministry of Education and Sports to motivate the teachers in the country. The reason why we are talking about primary teachers is because primary teachers are crucial in the delivery of education in this country. Of course, as prescribed in our education strategic plan, and of course in the NDP2, of course we see they play a key role. And secondly, they cover the biggest portion of our civil service in the country, because as we speak we have over 140,000 primary teachers in the UPE schools, and of course when you add on the private sector we have over 200,000 teachers. So they take the biggest portion of the civil service, but in addition they build the foundation of education. The primary teachers build the foundation of education, and of course for us as government we feel it is very important to really motivate them. And another thing we must not forget, primary teachers have always felt that maybe they are never recognized. They tend to think that they are probably underrated, undermined, and they are not actually felt. So because of this, we want to recognize them. We want to show them that we appreciate their contribution. Of course, our tagline for this conference is to inspire the teachers, to engage them, and to motivate, to inspire them, to engage them, and to, to help them be motivated.
All right.
And of course, the theme of this conference is quality teachers matter. So we are going to have quite a number of things that will be discussed in this conference, because we want to bring teachers together to share experience, to be inspired, to appreciate their work, and also feel that government appreciates them.
All right, okay. And we'll be getting more into that particular conversation, but Doctor is here with us today, Commissioner for Teacher Education. Education has been the conversation. She's talking about the qualified teacher. Just yesterday we were hosting one of the teachers, and they were saying that there's need to retool and reskill our teachers. Just touching on education for them first, them that dispense it to the students. Where are we at now? And in terms of taking that to embracing more skill-based, knowledge to our teachers, therefore to our students. Where are we at now, and what are the goals and timelines that you're giving yourselves?
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate that interest of the teachers to do more, to get into professional development, to do continuous professional development. It's something that we are completely up to. You may have known that we have just had our teacher policy approved by Parliament, and in that teacher policy, one of the things that we are strongly going in for is continuous professional development. And already we have developed a continuous professional development framework in which we hope that every teacher will have an opportunity for continuous professional development. But even getting back to the conference that we are up to, one of the things that we are up to is exposure. And exposure is a form of professional development.
Right.
So when they come in, we're going to have what we call master classes. And in those master classes, it's really getting into what is it that they need to know. And that's part of continuous professional development. So we are in for professional development. The teacher policy is very clear. Every 2 years, we will be requiring the teachers to do re-registration. And re-registration
every 2 years.
Every 2
because currently there's the re-registration on the e-platform.
It's not there. No, at the moment there is no re-registration. Once you register as a teacher, you remain a teacher almost forever.
What they're doing is they're trying to clean up the database to get rid of the ghost teachers,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So are you saying that same exercise that has caused a lot of buzz amongst teachers will be happening every 2 years?
We will. What has been happening is that once you register, you remain a teacher forever. But what happens, like in the law profession or in the medical profession and what, you have to undergo a number of professional development courses, and every 2 years, they re-register you to indicate that you are still professionally proficient, and that's going to happen. So the continuous professional development program is very, very critical to us, and I am happy that the teachers have indicated that they're interested in it.
Let's talk a little bit about teachers' motivation. Yesterday, the Uganda Liberal Teachers Union President, Mr. Evans Mwesugwa, hinted on that, and he was talking about low motivation in schools, which has led to a lot of absenteeism. What are you doing as the TIET Commissioner to ensure that teachers are motivated, that they always show up to class on time and do their job?
First and foremost, I want to say that with teacher motivation is again one of those things at the forefront, even of the teacher policy, because the teacher policy makes it very clear that a demotivated teacher cannot teach, is not interested in what they are doing. So we need to motivate them. This conference is one of them. We are trying to bring them on board. But besides that, last year at a similar conference, the minister, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni herself, launched a teacher incentive framework. That framework is meant to give us a framework within which we can now continuously empower the teachers, continuously motivate them. Inside there are very many strategies that the ministry and all other stakeholders can use to motivate the teachers. So it's not all about money only. You can say thank you. Right. You can take them for professional development courses. You can give them a letter. There are so many things that you can do, and all that is indicated in that professional development framework. So we are in for motivation of teachers, and this conference is certainly one of those methods.
Wonderful. Thursday is a big day, and you're all looking forward to that. First and foremost, why Wachiso District?
Now, first of all, last year we held this conference as our first conference in London College of St. Lawrence Maya, because we were given that offer. Of course, among the people that contributed towards the success of that conference was the London College of St. Lawrence, and because it gave us that offer, that's why we had to go to the schools in Wakiso, which are located in Wakiso District. This time round, we realized that we needed the same premises because of the way it was last year. We thought we could have it again this time. But of course, since this is going to be an annual event, we intend we shall be rotating it. Next year, we may think of taking it to another district, to another region. We shall be rotating it in the different regions.
I think that's good news, because then teachers in the rural areas, and we speak from having hosted quite a number of them, saying that the focus they feel is often around, the suburbs. They need to feel you in the rural areas as well.
Actually, in addition, I would like to make it clear that this is not going to be always only at the national level. Our plan is to also have post activities after the national conference. We intend to have regional regional meetings where we want to bring even other teachers that have been left behind. Because of course, when you talk about the national conference, it may not attract all the teachers that we have in the country. Of course, course, we have a selection from all over the country, from all the districts and the municipalities of the country. But of course, to get closer to the teacher, we want to now to have it at a regional level. Of course, we have our our development partners who are ready to even assist us in this kind of gesture. And we hope this time round, after this national conference, we hope we are going to make a plan and be able to move to the regions.
Okay.
Well, teachers have been fighting for an increment for a while now. And as the State Minister for Primary Education, what are you doing to effect this increment? Will they ever get an increment, or do they deserve one? Yes.
Now, first of all, I want to make it clear, honestly, the government has tried this
because
level-based.
it's part of motivation.
I want to assure you, even this time around, we have already increased the budget of the salaries, increasing on the salaries of our teachers. The government has done its best, honestly. But you will agree with me that as far as primary teachers are concerned, of course we do all appreciate we have skills. And primary teachers are at U7. And of course I appreciate that they get the lowest when you compare to the teaching group. But of course, unfortunately, I think everyone will agree with me that there is no money that will ever be enough. Even if we increase millions and millions every time, money will never be enough. Even the member of parliament who gets more than 20 million will always say money is not enough. But anyway, I want to appreciate that we appreciate the concern that teachers' salary is not the level is not as much as any Ugandan would want to have. The government is doing its best. We are planning to always motivate our teachers, not only through salary increments, but also through other incentives. We know very well that when a teacher gets his salary, if at least he's provided with a house at the school, at least that will motivate him. If a teacher is given a good environment, can be provided with some food at school, I think all those things can motivate a teacher. We are doing our best as a government to make sure that we improve the status of a teacher in terms of their welfare. We are doing our best, and we, as you know, we have in our budget we have put in money to make sure that we provide teachers' houses at the schools. I know we have not yet done it 100%, but we are doing our best, and we shall be there because we have the will, we have the commitment as a government. And of course I want to appreciate even the leadership in the Ministry of Education and Sports has changed the face of the Ministry of Education. So my dear teachers, I want to assure you that we as government are going to do our best to improve. Of course I know it will not be a one-off as such. We shall continue doing our best, and as time goes on, I'm sure we shall reach where we want to go.
We shall reach where we want to go.
But of course, you see, even these initiatives of like coming up with this kind of conference is one of the things that we are now putting in place. This is an initiative that we started last year, and of course every year we want to make sure we add in more things. We add in more things that can motivate the teacher, can make the teaching profession
Honorable, speaking
better.
to that matter of accommodation, because we speak to teachers and they say that yesterday we asked them what would be your priority, because they have a whole list of needs and wants that they want the Ministry of Education to actually, pretty much deliver to them. And yesterday, one of the top three was number one, accommodation, the salary increment, and making sure that as much as the ministry is trying to make sure that every child is, given food in school, they also need food as teachers.
That is true.
Now, with regards to accommodation, that critical thing, are you giving yourself timelines? Do we have timelines as the Ministry of Education to ensure that we achieve X within this given frame of time? X number of house units?
Of course, every time we come up with our education sector strategic plan, we put in the things that we must achieve at a given time in a financial year. Like in the last financial year, we appreciated that, our target was to make sure that at least schools, especially in the hard to reach, at least many of them have had teachers' houses. We have tried that, and I want to assure you that even all the schools we build now, we construct now, we must make sure one of the things that must not miss is teachers' houses. And of course we have to some extent we achieved as far as our strategy, as far as our budget was concerned for the last year. This time round again, we hope we are going to do the same. And of course, like I want to assure the country that in the next 5 years yes, by the end of the next 5 years, I'm sure we shall have reached a very big step in as far as how teachers' houses are concerned.
Well, Minister, we cannot really talk about teachers' welfare and not talk about the students that they are teaching.
Absolutely.
Now, we understand that poverty and poor menstrual hygiene management has been fronted as the reason why many students are missing out in school. What is your government or your ministry doing to rein in on this problem, to ensure that the girl child is well provided with sanitary pads to show up in the schools? We remember in the 2015 campaigns, the president pledged to offer free pads to the girls all over the country. But up to now, we haven't seen any single thing being delivered.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to appreciate the fact that His Excellency the President, during his campaign, he pledged to make a contribution to help in that aspect. But of course, I must now put this to us, all of us, that yes, the President wants to do everything because he wants the Ugandan people to be happy, to be satisfied.
So what role have you played in
now,
this?
when it comes to the sanitary towels, honestly, it is one thing that we look at as one of the priorities. But we must also not forget that we have so many competing priorities. One of the things that I want to put forward, we need teachers. And as we speak, we still have a gap in primary section alone, a gap of about 22,000 teachers that we need to cover the problem of the teaching gap. In our schools, according to our policy, we are supposed to have 1 teacher to 53 children. But as we speak, you find in some of the schools, especially in many of our schools, you find that 1 teacher is teaching about 100 children. Why? Because our population is growing every day. And not only that, because of our policies and the health policies where government has put in a lot of effort to immunize children, now at least our children are so many in schools. So the enrollments always are high. And because of that, the schools that we put in place, the infrastructure and the teachers we have to recruit may not match the rate at which we get the numbers of children in school. Just a minute. Now, the challenge we face is that where do we put the priority? Should we give pads first as priority number 1, or we first recruit teachers? Should we put classrooms, or we first provide pads? So I think these are competing priorities. We must appreciate this. But I must also tell the parents, there is something that parents are not doing. Honestly, I remember you were in school at one time. I was also in school at one time. Not any single moment did I hear the government providing pads for us during that time. So where are the parents in this? So as government plans to provide for the learners, let the parents also play their part. Even where the government has not yet given, the parents must at least play their part. So for me, I still look at the parents.
But
even the issue of feeding.
The parents can't provide for their children because they are poor. Poverty is the main factor driving low enrollment in the schools. If a parent can't provide lunch, school fees, that means pads will be a problem.
Allow me to be sorry to say this, and I say it from the bottom of my heart, with a clean and clear heart and basing on the Bible. The Bible has a provision very clear that if you don't work, then you can never eat. You can't eat when you don't work. The Bible tells us that. So what does this mean? God has given us all the gifts. He has given us the gift of the brain, the gift of our hands, the gift of all our limbs. God has given us all this. Even the gift of life alone. Right. But I think the issue of poverty is the mind. It's about the mind, if I can say. Because let me tell you, we have people who say they are poor. But when you go to their homes, honestly, they will tell you we eat 1 meal a day. And all the place around them is bush. They cannot even put food, grow food. You know, you look at our youth who go to play cards during working time, and then at the end of the day they say they are poor. Honestly, I think let's be sincere to ourselves.
So it's a mindset thing.
It is a mindset thing.
All right.
Let me give you an example. Even in our UPE schools, the biggest challenge we have is that our teachers have got, our parents have got that mindset that it is the president or the government to do it all. And they forget that they have a role to play as far as their children's education is concerned. Because it is not a sole responsibility of government. It is a shared role.
Let me just pitch in there for a moment and just ask Mrs. Egao one question. Now, Mrs. Egao, would it be sane to motivate a teacher give them everything, housing, food, accommodation, but then this teacher is teaching an empty class. Why? The students are poor, they can't afford pads, things like that. Why would we motivate a teacher to show up in class and teach an empty class?
I don't think we'll get to a situation where there will be an empty class. The children will always be there. We have too many children in this country.
Well, according to recent data, 50% of the girl child is missing out on school due to poor menstrual hygiene. It's a real big issue.
I think we just need to do a little more sensitization, because truly the parents can do something. There are now cheaper ways of getting these pads, and in many schools there are many people who are now coming up to teach the children and the girls and even the parents how to make cheaper pads. So I think we will have the children.
All right,
but
Dr.
definitely
Jane.
more is on sensitization of the public.
All right, I think let's switch gears and just focus on this particular conference that is upcoming this Thursday. With regards to the last one, this is a second national conference.
Yes.
Have you been able to achieve any kind of feedback, or have you been able to achieve any goals based on the initial one that you're able to say, hey, by the way, this conference is bearing fruit?
Yes, I think we have. The feedback that we've got, first of all, the first one was very motivating. There were many people who came to Kampala for the first time. That alone was a very big motivation. During the first conference, we also held what we have now called the master classes, and in the master classes there were quite new insights that were given to them. We had international speakers. We had people who had gained recognition as best teachers during in their different countries and times, and they came to speak to them about what it means to be a good teacher. And I think it was so motivating, and that to me I think reflects the amount of response that we have got this time. Even when we are trying to identify these good teachers, we have received many, and when you read their stories, they are able to articulate exactly what they do to make a difference in their schools. You may have been following even the New Vision Teachers Making a Difference. When you read those stories, they are very motivating. But many of these have really come as a result of these efforts that we are now trying to make to bring the teachers on board. I think that first conference made a great difference, and people are motivated. This time, everyone is calling, they want to come for the conference.
All right, Honorable, we have 50 teachers will be awarded on this day, and the top three will be given land titles.
Yes.
What criteria are you using to select this 50? We have a big chunk of teachers, and they're all looking at, okay, fine. How did this 50 make it to that threshold? What was the criteria?
Okay, first and foremost, sincerely, I think we would have loved to give even more than 500 teachers. We would have loved to award over 500 teachers. But of course, since this is just the beginning, because in the last conference, we launched the Teachers Award and the Teachers Prize, and this time round we are going to implement it. So we wanted to start slow, we wanted to start small, so that next time as we grow, maybe next year we may increase on the number. So the criteria that we used this time round was we set up a number of issues that we needed to look at in order for us to choose a teacher. What were the things that we needed to consider? Among them, we wanted to look at professionalism. We wanted to see how the teacher upholds the teacher's profession code of conduct, demonstrates commitment to the teaching profession, continually seeks self-improvement and professional development, and collaborates with the support of colleagues and the teaching and learning. Then we also wanted to look at the teaching itself. How is this teacher implementing the teaching and learning? How is she or he demonstrating the mastery and the expertise of the subjects that they teach, and so many other things. Then we wanted also to look at how the teacher improves the learner development. Another thing that we wanted to look at also is the school development. How is this teacher contributing to the development of the school in promotion of the school mission and vision, and also contributing to the community? Because we have teachers who have not actually demonstrated that, but we want to appreciate the teachers who have demonstrated in the whole of all these things that we are talking about. Then another thing that I want to put forward is that because we know the teachers are many in the country, and for us as a ministry, we would not be able to reach out to every teacher in every classroom. We know very well that we have our stakeholders who are the local government. So we work with the local government to make sure that they get us the best 3 teachers from every district, every municipality. So the districts were given a criteria. One of the things that they had to do, they had to select these teachers and send us their profiles, but also provide us with minutes indicating how they selected this teacher. And of course that was a very key thing, because we didn't want a DEO to forward to us a name of his girlfriend or his friend or his wife or anything like that. We wanted, you know, something that is
to
really
select
transparent.
The best of the best.
Yes, and of course they had to show all that. And of course we told them the committee that had to do the selection at the district level had to include a number of people, and among them was the COW, the chairman of the Teachers Association, the UNATO, the chairman of the district, the DEO, the district inspector of school, and all the municipality, and you know, and so they had to come up with these minutes and then to give us those names. So at the national level, we selected a team. We have a team, the selection team at the national level, which had to look at all these and then sieve out and select the best 50.
So ideally, you're looking for the best of the best.
The best of the best. And of course, we have 3 categories in this. We have the category of the best 50, and then we have the category of the best 5, and the best 5 are going to be selected basing on 1 at least from every region. Okay. Because we wanted to give an opportunity to every region to show.
Let's step away let's step away a bit from the teachers who are doing their jobs. Let's take a look at the head teachers who are not doing their jobs. They've cited inadequate support, supervision, and lack of supervision. Head teachers are not showing up at the schools. What is your ministry doing to rein in on these head teachers?
First and foremost, we have done quite a lot as a government, as a ministry. We have come up with a lot of training for the head teachers to appreciate that they are the first supervisors and the first inspectors themselves. But 2, we also came up with another system on time on task, teachers' presence and time on task, where we have been able to teach the head teachers on how the teachers can be, motivated to be at school, but not only being at school, but also teaching. And of course, we want to appreciate that where the districts where we have done this, the teachers are very motivated, the teachers have been present at school, but also teaching in class.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about the inadequate and poor syllabus. Yeah, let's first talk about the inadequate and poor syllabus. Is this behind the poor performance in schools, and what can your ministry do to change that?
I want to really assure the country that it is not about our poor curriculum.
It has been fronted that the curriculum is too theoretical and we need a practical
It is not theoretical, because our curriculum has got the development of the cognitive, the development of the affective, and the development of the psychomotor. I want to tell the country that maybe the challenge we've had is the implementers of this curriculum. They are the ones probably who have not been putting in practice or helping us teaching these all 3 things that we need to see that will develop the whole child. So that is why we are coming up with quite a number of programs and initiatives that are helping us to make the teacher be able to teach the psychomotor, and also, develop the psychomotor, and also...
Okay, as we wrap up, Mrs. Egao, let's talk about the issue of qualified teachers. Some people think the teachers are ill-equipped to deal with the changing learning world. We have e-learning, etc. What can you say about that?
The teachers will be even better equipped in the near future. Our teacher policy is very strong.
What needs to be done to equip these teachers to do their job? One
of the things that we are talking about is continuous professional development for those who are already in the field. And for those that we are now training, we are reviewing the curriculum and strengthening the curriculum to make it more practical. The use of ICT is being strengthened, and with continuous professional development and the reviewed curriculum, emphasis on practical training, we are going to get better teachers in the near future.
Mrs. Jane Egao, the TIET Commissioner and State Minister for Primary Education, Mrs. Seninde. Now, before we wrap up, I understand, Mrs. Seninde, you have a daughter who is playing for the London Phoenix? women's soccer team. Tell us about that, because it has a lot to do with girl child empowerment.
Yes, I would like to first of all appreciate and thank God for Jean Seninde.
Jean Seninde,
Jean
yes.
Seninde, a young girl who has been able to do quite a lot in developing and improving the.
Now, what can we do for our local and poor young girls to be like Jean Seninde?
That's where I'm going.
Yes.
First of all, Jean has done quite a lot in terms of helping the young girls be put in the limelight. She has always, every year, come up with a Seninde Foundation Women's Development Cup, and this is a tournament she has always organized to bring the young girls that have not had the opportunity to be exposed to have their talent developed and given this exposure. She has done it throughout the country, and this time round she has just completed it, and it was done in Kacheka Stadium in Mbarara. Recently she has been doing it in Kampala and bringing all teams from all over the country, and this time round she even had a team from Tanzania. So this girl has actually helped to develop the talents of the young girls, and many of the young girls now are appreciating that a girl is can also be put in the limelight and can even develop not only through other things but also through sports.
Indeed, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it at that. That's the State Minister for Primary Education, Mrs. Seninde.
But I also want to allow me to tell the country that Seninde Foundation has organized a graduation ceremony on the 14th of September, where His Excellency the President is going to be the guest of honor at Wakiso District
on Thursday next week.
Oh no, that one will be on 14th September. It will be a Saturday, and we are going to graduate 30,000 women and youth who have been skilled by Seninde Foundation. Seninde Foundation is skilling women and youth to empower them and also show them that it is possible. We are teaching them that people must learn that it is time to learn to fish. I will get a fish, a net, other than waiting for fish.
Awesome. We've been speaking to the State Minister for Primary Education, Mrs. Seninde, and the TIET Commissioner, Mrs. Jane Egao. We've been compounding on some issues affecting the teachers and their students. We now take a very short break. We'll be right back with more exhilarating information. Keep it Morning at NTV. We'll be right back.
The Top 100 SME Survey is back. Daily Monitor in partnership with KPMG bring you the Top 100 Mid-Sized Company Survey starting this July until October 31st, 2019. Under the theme, SMEs Shaping the Future Business Landscape. Participation is voluntary, and all you need to participate is have a business with a turnover between 360 million to 25 billion, 3 years audited book of accounts, and are not listed on the stock exchange. Participate and be part of the Top 100 forums where you get to engage with successful corporate and business speakers and benchmark with other peers in the SME sector. To register and for more information, please call 03